see Yvette. Hello.
Hey, do you want your MTV?
MTV.
Do you want your MTV?
Oh, yay. You think it's something?
Oh, well, that's great. Kathy will like that because her husband works for MTV.
Well, that's kind of what it was all about.
Left on Sunset Drive.
Not Sunset Walk.
Oh, look at this
Oh.
one.
What's the special?
Oh. Is this the lantern? Is this?
No idea.
Oh, is this National Day?
No, it's MTV Day.
Oh, don't turn yet.
Is anyone behind me? There's a car behind me. Yeah, I'm holding up the
Like a
truck.
parade.
Wait. Okay.
Okay, now turn right up. Second right. Second right.
Sunset Place.
Sunset Place number 2.
Second one should be Sunset Heights.
What was going on there? That was interesting.
What's this one?
is
Yeah,
Sunset
this
Heights.
This is it.
This is it. This is it.
Number 7.
I guess pretty much parked anywhere.
Drop us off and pick us up around 1, Bill.
Yes.
Do you know any lines from Sunset Boulevard, the movie Irene, that you can do in honor of this?
Is it that the house? I think that's the house.
That's the house.
Is it? You guys
Yes.
want to get out? I'll park it. You do?
It was the movies that got small.
Oh, he's with the American Club. I don't know if he's ballet or not.
Everybody was polite. You know, it wasn't crowded. You know, everybody was courteous. It was really nice. You know, just within the U.S. You know, compared to, well, you know, everything's been so crowded the last week. Yeah, people were not. So the flight attendants were nice, and passengers.
The way it should be is kind of like people get that way around Christmas, but
Yeah.
Be that way the rest of the year. As it should be. I think, you know, when a tragedy happens, just reminds you, you know, you never know. It's really nice to be right. It's maybe the last person to say.
Right.
I mean, if it forces us to be better people, then, you know, we can never justify it. Unless it's the constructive approach to tragedy.
Oh, you can put it in my room right up there, or stick it in the corner. But yeah, right there.
the video diary of our
Oh
trip.
my God.
You're on camera.
Is this hidden video?
No, it's right here. It's growing out of my arm. How you doing?
How long are you in town for?
2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks sanity break.
They were in Angkor Wat last week. Oh, they just got in.
Oh, wow.
Just got in yesterday. We spent the week in Angkor Wat.
How was that?
Really
Sounds a lot
nice.
better than we were. Have you guys been?
We've not been yet. No.
It sounds like it's better now. I mean, it's more organized and less begging. And,
How's that? Okay.
What they were saying, the guys stepped in and made it as,
More pleasurable.
yeah.
yeah, we were there. People were still like legs blown off. Where do you start?
But we got so lucky. We met 2 expats on the plane who recommended a place called Angkor Villa, which was designed by a French architect who stayed in Cambodia, married in Cambodia, and it's gorgeous. And it's not like your Sofitel or your Grand Hotel, which are great too.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it's little bungalows on stilts around the pond, and it's
So you really feel that you're in
it's
Cambodia?
just charming.
We met it. It was a jazz night. Just on the bus right back. We met this
Exactly.
lady in the back. Her husband, I think, was out of town. And he must have been Marines, retired Marines.
Oh, thank you so much.
So she had access to the base, but he's got this big house. So he's obviously MD of some company over here. But she offered to get smaller change, American currency, dollars or 5s or 10s. They were there with 50s and 100s. So you could change.
Yeah.
So she's real nice. This was
Take lots of dollar bills.
This was before midnight at jazz night. I remember the next day to do that. Went by there. She was really nice. She went to the base on Monday. Changed. But her bumper sticker is on her husband's car. And I said, well, I remember that. I've seen that man in the neighborhood. It says U.S. Marine Corps sticker on it.
He was at, he works for FedEx. Jim and Andrew told
Oh,
me.
does he? Oh, he's the guy that runs FedEx, I bet. Oh, okay. But it says U.S. Marine Corps, when it positively, absolutely has to be destroyed overnight. That's great. That was good. But anyway, nice couple.
they
We
gave us-
didn't know. I said, yeah, they were sorry. They were right next door. We got really meet people. So that was a good event.
So,
It was fun. It was a great. I thought the bands were good. They got better as the night went on, or the beer got better as the night went on. I don't know. One of the two. Had a great time.
Wow, this looks like you have a lot of people here tonight, Richard.
we have a good turnout. Also, something about the American Association, PTA, Kathy's involved in it, some work associates, dog associates.
You guys throw a great party.
I'm sorry? Oh, no, thank you. I'm fine.
Ships in town now.
Well, you know, actually, yeah, I'll have another beer, please. Thank you. You know, actually, there are ships in town, and we asked about this, and they said there are actually an enormous number of Navy ships coming through Singapore right here.
Am I taping it?
Absolutely.
It's like a veneer. You know, furniture, nice furniture with veneer on it. It looks really nice, but you rub through it. Underneath the veneer is particle board. That's Singapore.
That's where the jokes come. Disneyland run by Nazis.
But Disneyland with the death penalty.
That's exactly right. Exactly. Well, see, I lived in Greece, and the Greeks even have a word for it. Their word is fasaria. And it's this love of taking a normal, stable situation and stirring it up and just making problems happen because that makes for interesting stories and stuff.
Well, see, here you have somewhat the opposite.
Exactly.
They get a coffee table book of like the beautiful cities in the world, and they flip through it and they see big buildings, clean streets, big houses, and everything else. Okay, we're going to build this, and they run out and they build it, and they do an awesome job building compared to anywhere else in Asia, with maybe the exception of Japan. The quality of building here is pretty good, but they don't know outside of the bricks and mortar of building all this, what else goes into it. The service aspect of this country is just it's terrible. You go to the restaurants, you go to the stores or whatever, they just don't know how to pull it all together with all the glitzy stuff they have. It's in the world per capita, especially when you compare it to Malaysia and everything else. But what they did is they built a society that started out with an education system based on rote learning. Here's the books. We're going to tutor you, test you, beat it into you, but you're going to know everything in this book. We're going to have a test on chapter 2, pages 210 to 290. Learn it, and it's based on rote learning. What this education system here, and again, it's true throughout Asia, does not teach is creativity. And they're now got to the point where rote learning, building factories, so on and so forth, was able to fuel the growth that created this, which is a phenomenal accomplishment, absolutely phenomenal accomplishment. But to take the next step, now that they got here, they have to, they need to generate, more creativity and populace. It's even worse for the males because they have compulsory military service here. So you go from, a rote learning educational system that has no creativity to all males spend 4 or 5 years in the military where any individualism is further wrung out of them because of the necessary discipline and following orders of the military life. And when they come out the other end, they're great. Like the guys we have locally in the company, they're the best if you say, okay, we're at point A, we're at point B, we need to get to point B, these are the 5 steps that you have to take. They will get there. But if you say, okay, this is what our business is, you're part of the team, what we want you to do is help us grow the business and throw that out. It's difficult for them to answer that challenge because they're not used to saying, okay, I'm going to have to think creatively to add value here, as opposed to I need to pull this crank, push this computer key, print this out in order to get my job done. But they're getting, more so than any other country in Asia, this government runs like some of the best corporations in the world because they figure it out and then they go like that. Just like I made the comment before a couple of years ago, this country was devoid of any real entertainment or nightlife or arts. And they heard the complaints and whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, there's new restaurant districts. They're building a new fine arts establishment. The new art galleries opened up. I mean, they do get it. They can get it done. But so it's unfair to sort of pick a time and say, okay, these are all the things wrong. But there are a lot of things wrong. But what they've accomplished in 30 years, this country is only 30 years old. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, that'll be $5 for the tape. No.
This guy who like heads the opposition party.
They put him in jail, didn't they?
They sued him for slander.
Yeah.
Then
I think they
seized
put him
all
in
his
jail.
assets.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then they chased him out of the country, and they had his wife denounce him. But you know, the absolute irony and the hypocrisy of it was they sued the guy for slander. What the guy said on the campaign trail was akin to saying, yes,
To capture her again.
People's Action Party has
$1,000
done a
for the
tremendous job over 30 years, and we have so much to be thankful for. But what the hell? Give us a shot. It's a time for change. That was about as egregious as what he said. And they sued him for slander. He ran to Johor Bahru, which is right over the border in Malaysia. And during the slander trial, the guy came back. The senior minister, who's like the George Washington of Singapore, was being deposed.
Lee Kuan Yew.
Yeah, Lee Kuan Yew, and he said, yeah, well, of course he's a crook. He ran to Johor Bahru. The only thing in Johor Bahru is criminals and rapists. Yeah, and Malaysia's like, wait, time out.
Mahathir.
Yeah,
Where did the
time
water come from again?
Yeah, time out. First of all, don't bring us into this. And then second of all, you're claiming this guy slandered you for saying you did a great job, but what the hell, give us a shot. You're telling us, you know, your foreign neighbor that we're a bunch of crooks and rapists. You know, a little hypocrisy here, you know. That was like,
We just moved here.
yeah, that was just like, oops.
Yeah.
Stop
They'll eventually get to it.
You were not here September 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. They had stuff in the paper from 4 a.m. that morning. They worked
No,
hard.
it's selective. It's selective.
You said that.
And the New York Times is not.
You're gonna have to eat
You
that
guys have
tape,
noticed
by the
that
way,
tape.
if it's
I love the paper.
It's kind of like
that tape's gonna have to be confiscated. The tea houses in Beijing,
yeah,
where they had those zero cross. That is so cool. That is so cool. In Beijing, you go to the tea houses, and you'll be sitting at a little proper table like this, and you have a little Chinese teacup with the lid on it. And they fill the cup the first time, and it's got all the twigs and leaves and twigs, leaves, and all sorts of other things.
With the van.
And when you need a refill, they have these copper pots of boiling water with a very thin 3-foot spout. And what they'll do is, like that table over there, they'll pour here and hit that little teacup over there, and they'll send it a stream, and they'll cut it off just at the right time. It will land in the cup and just fill the cup.
Now, it ain't perfect. I mean, there's a couple splashes.
Yeah.
But it ain't damn bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they launched the stream of tea, hot tea, over the table into your cup. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
There are going to be a lot of my friends back home. And
So he walks through and catches it in the eye or whatever.
That doesn't work. Oh, that's funny.
well, what was that coffee bar you took me to? It wasn't a Starbucks. It was like some coffee bean.
Coffee bean.
Yeah.
Sort of local jobber. Yeah.
But this whole bullshit place in Malaysia, so they had these signs saying Vietnamese coffee. It was like a special, but they posted them around. And it was what you had brought, which Jay said is a little, like, the European squeegee where you get the boiling water in the coffee and you push it down. It's just a little tiny stainless steel gadget that goes over your coffee cup. You put this Vietnamese coffee.
It makes awesome coffee.
So I guess it's not. I mean, what you brought was from New Orleans. You squeeze it through, and it's.
I thought the story was going to be where they had the advertisement they didn't have. There was a Vicky and I think it was Ann were down at Boat Key a few years ago, and a new store opened up. A very fancy neon light that said gelato, and they had just come back from dinner, and they're like, "God, I could really go for a gelato." So they go in.